people evolve, intentions change, purposes change. So I think it's okay, right? It's okay to break up.
I have seen a lot more relationships which are on for over 7, 8, 10 years. You
Yeah.
may not have
No,
experienced that.
that's a relationship.
Yeah. So you may not have
Yeah.
encountered that.
Vikram, don't break up because they are in a very comfortable space
Yeah.
and they don't know how to break up, or they are with that person for the amount of time they've spent, for the history, as people say.
If I had to put it in a very simple way from my past relationships, I would say it's just when you wake up and you're not happy with that person anymore. It could also be something to do with where you are in life, not to do with that person. I know people, I mean, not just people, I've gone through that where I'm not happy with something else. But I'm just not in a happy place.
In my head, when do I reach the conclusion ki no, now is the time that I have to break up?
When do you think is the right time to end a relationship?
So, Vikram, what is the first thing that pops in your head when I say the phrase, we need to talk?
I think the most I would believe it's the most dreadful and feared sentence in relationship universe.
I would agree. And if you haven't figured out already, we're talking about all things breakups. This is Khushi.
Hi, I'm Vikram and welcome again to another episode of Gibberishq.
Gibberishq is a banter between a millennial and a Gen Z where we talk about all things love, dating, and relationships.
So Khushi, what does a breakup mean to you? Or what is a breakup for you?
A breakup is an ending of a relationship. For me, it not necessarily be a romantic relationship. Any relationship in which you have spent a significant amount of time or have invested like a certain amount of energy, right? So yeah, the end of a relationship.
It's surprising because for me it's purely romantic based.
Purely?
Yeah.
You've not had breakups otherwise?
I wouldn't call any separation as breakup barring people I've been in a relationship with.
Okay, and why do you say so?
I mean, you fall apart sometimes, friends don't keep in touch as much. Things go sour sometimes with
Hmm.
someone, but I don't know. I just don't consider that as a breakup. For me, breakup is purely someone I'm dating and we
Okay.
officially call it quits.
So it's a little technical for you.
Yeah, why do you use it in a generic manner?
I think I've
Because of the emotional impact it may have on you.
yes, definitely. I think I've had friendship breakups also. I've had breakups with like work relationships also. It may not be a person, just a project maybe. But the kind of emotional impact, the after effect, the aftermath of it on me, I think it somewhat falls in the same category for me, emotionally speaking. Not every relationship is meant to last for a lifetime. I think some relationships come your way to teach you a lesson. And people evolve, intentions change, purposes change. So I think it's okay, right? It's okay to break up.
When do you think is the right time to end a relationship?
But one thing I would say, your gut never lies. Before your brain knows, your gut knows. And listen to your gut.
So do you always act on it?
Um, Not immediately. I would definitely give it a thought, sleep over it. But then once I've made up my mind, I better stick to it. Then you talk to your friends and then you discuss with 10 people and then you go back and forth, back and
So you
forth,
do
back
that.
and forth.
You discuss with 10 people before making a decision like that.
To be sure, sometimes you also get cold feet. Maybe, if you're taking your relationship to the
Yes.
next
Okay,
level
that's true. Yeah.
in that sense.
Yeah.
But sometimes, with like, again, it's very subjective, like I said. For some situations, if you're very certain in your gut and in your head, then I think you should stick to it. Because at the end of the day, you have to be in that relationship, not anyone else.
Exactly. Why I would not probably ask around, but I think, yeah, someone who you trust enough to give you discerning opinion would probably reach out to them as well.
And when do you think is the ideal time to end a relationship?
I mean, it kind of is related to what you said, like something to do with the gut. But if I had to put it in a very simple way from my past relationships, I would say it's just when you wake up and you're not happy with that person anymore. It could also be something to do with where you are in life, not to do with that person. I know people who have, I mean, not just people, I've gone through that where I'm not happy with something else. I'm just not in a happy place. So it's
That's
not that
true.
anything to do with her per se, but I feel like for me it's important to be single at that point or not be with anyone rather. So that could also be a reason to end relationship. It doesn't have to be so, like they say, it's not me, it's not you,
It's
it's
not
me.
you, it's me.
But
You
it,
know,
yeah.
I was reading up and I found something very similar to what you said. There are a bunch of questions that can help you figure out if you want to end a relationship. The first thing is like, what is your core problem? What is the core reason? You ask yourself that. Ask yourself if you're willing to live with that compromise. If not, if it's something that's not making you happy on a daily basis, that is when you communicate with your partner and you express to them that this is something that's not working out. Obviously, your first attempt will be
Oh
to
yeah, definitely.
sort the
So
problem.
I would definitely first talk it out or give it a shot to see if that person understands, even if it's something to do with, see, I'm not happy, something else in my life. See, I
Right.
want to travel, I want to get away from people, I want to
Hmm.
change whatever. I'll see how that response is from her, and then see if that changes
Yeah.
what I feel about my status with her. um, but I read this very I mean, it's a quote I read somewhere, but I can't remember it exactly, but it was something on the lines of, um I don't want to, like, or rather, you don't want to spend the rest of your life sitting across the table, dining table, with someone who you don't know what you want to speak with. And
Right.
I don't ever want to be in that place. Like, I know that it can get monotonous and boring as well,
Hmm.
like every
Hmm.
other relationship that we have. But I definitely don't want to be in a place where I don't get
Yeah.
excited to talk to that person.
I mean, every relationship requires a lot of effort, a lot of work that both partners have to consciously put in. Only if it is beyond repair is when you break up. I feel
Mm.
a lot of people, Vikram, don't break up because they are in a very comfortable space
Yeah.
and they don't know how to break up, or they are with that person for the amount of time they've spent, for the history, as people say, or the amount of just like how entangled their lives are with each other.
So
To
as a millennial, and I say that because I have seen a lot more relationships which are on for over 7, 8, 10 years. You
Yeah.
may not have
Now
experienced that.
that's a relationship.
Yeah, yeah. So you may not have
Yeah.
encountered that
Yeah.
as a Gen Z, but I've
Yeah.
seen that a lot more. Uh, and what I've seen is what keeps them in the relationship. And I'm talking about actual cases I've seen. I've not been in anything that long,
Okay.
but what keeps them in that relationship is purely the fact that, shit, I was with this person for so long. How can I end it? It's like a
Yeah.
part of your life now,
Yeah.
which you can't detach from. I mean, whatever. One reason is that,
Family.
no, yeah, that's okay. But I would say it's more of fear
Huh.
of what my life would be without that person, because they don't know anything else.
Right.
They don't know a life sans that person. So for them, it's a big deal to actually detach or live a life without them.
Exactly.
It's kind of an insecurity in a way.
Hmm.
And what happens in such a case, and I don't mean to judge or be generic here, but I feel what happens in such a case is that person will only eventually break up when they find someone else worthy of a partnership.
Really?
Yeah, so they will keep lingering and pushing this relationship, which is not making them happy purely out of fear of not wanting to be alone. And eventually, what will happen is they'll break up when they find someone who's 100% appropriate. They don't land up marrying that person. You don't see too many
This is
relationships which are over 10
interesting.
years that they land up marrying each other. They land up immediately marrying someone else a year or two after that breakup. You see that, and it's very normal. And that's so unfair on that person
Yeah,
who you're dating for
absolutely.
10 years. So the ideal thing to do is, the minute
Yes.
you're unhappy, you talk it
You
out. And if it's
have to
not working out, you
communicate. Yeah.
rather break up than
Yeah.
wait for finding someone else and leaving this person in
That
the
is
open.
that is so true. And I feel like it is so different for the person who is breaking up versus who's being the person being broken up
But
with.
don't you think that both suffer? Sometimes both suffer.
Yeah, both suffer, but I'm talking with respect to um, when you don't see it coming, and for one person, it has been there at the back of his or her head. Like you said, if that person has found another partner, but the other person is clueless, they have a different idea of the kind of future that they're going to be having together, and this person is planning something else in the head.
So I want to ask you this as a woman, more than Gen Z and millennial now. Is it true that women tend to break up when they have kind of already moved on? Like they have mentally prepared, they've sort of moved on, and then they officially tell the guy. So the guy is completely taken aback, shocked, and he doesn't know how to handle it. Do you think that happens?
Oh.
Like in the sense where you've already sort of in your head tried and tried and tried, and you're sure. And when you already go to him, you're sort of already over your guy. You're already over him.
I
Breaking the
don't
news.
think anyone can be completely unaware.
No, I
You
think
just get that sense, yeah, that something is a little off.
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so. I
I
think
don't
I
think
think
then communication
I
is
think two
enough.
people can be on completely different tangents in a relationship. One can think that this is great, it's going well, and one person in their head is kind of already feeling like, okay, we need to, like, I'm not happy, I'm not happy. They discuss with their friends, they discuss with everyone, but they don't discuss with that partner because they're too scared to tell them. And then one day they draw the courage to go and tell
Yeah.
them, hey, listen, yo, I'm out of here.
But
And that person, like, what the fuck just happened to me?
no, but I think some sense of behavior, body language, interaction, you get to know. I don't think you can be completely unaware and be like, what the fuck just happened?
Whenever I've heard, and I've been a
Hmm.
therapist to a lot of my friends,
Oh,
guys and
really?
girls. So I
Okay.
can tell you, whenever I've seen, it's always been a case where they are so happy or settled in a relationship that they kind of take the other person for granted, that this is
That
on,
is true.
this is apna chal
Hmm.
raha, it's part of my life.
Yeah.
They don't give that same attention. That other
True.
person struggles. So when they break it to them, that person is completely unaware because they don't see what's going wrong. I'm talking about only scenarios where they don't talk
Okay.
it out. Of course, there are
Okay.
couples that maturely
Who
talk it out.
have
But
communication.
when you're on for like 7 years, 10 years, whatever, 5 years, however long it could be.
Yeah.
But when you're so comfortable with each other that you tend to not even realize there's something wrong or something amiss.
So are you saying that either of the partners is in this delusional little world of maybe not seeing what's right in front of them?
I I what stories I've heard, it's been the
Can
guy
you
the
can
guy
you share any instance that you might have come across?
Yeah, so many where I feel like the woman is unhappy
Hmm.
because she thinks he's not making enough effort,
Okay.
whether it's in bed or it's small, small gestures, like in terms of like uh, taking out on date nights
So
or
you're
making
saying
efforts to go on
after having expressed all of those concerns, still it is something.
Yeah, and that person doesn't think it's a big deal. And
Oh,
and
okay.
usually
Okay.
usually the
Now I
case
get what you're saying.
usually the case what I have experienced, again,
Huh.
I'm talking from my point of view, is that it's usually the guys who tend to go in a comfort zone and they are settled in, happy, and they don't see, and the girls is unhappy but she is not able to tell him, and then eventually she goes through the motions and then she breaks it to him that she's done.
You know, I have seen stories other way around also, where they're both very comfortable, like with whatever the scenario is, but they're not too happy with the relationship. Comfortable but not happy. But then they'll find ways and means to find happiness elsewhere.
Mhm.
But still, come back to each other at the end of the day for whatever reason
What
that may be.
can you elaborate? This is very
I
interesting.
just
Happiness elsewhere. Please tell me more about
you
this.
know what it is. Come on,
No,
don't
no.
make me.
So, do you have any breakup stories?
Of course, I have breakup stories. You want good or bad?
Or you have good and bad?
Yes.
I have
Well,
only had bad
mostly
breakup
bad,
stories.
yeah.
Okay, whatever is interesting.
So the first story, the dude was a jerk, big time pervert. So it needed the breakup needed some adult intervention, and my mother had to break up with me
Wow.
for me.
Tell me more. Hold on, let me get my popcorn.
So yeah, I mean, he was this very insecure dude, and we were just seeing each other for like a good 2-3 months, and my social media accounts are getting hacked. I was getting tracked. I was getting stalked. What not, you name it. I had to complain in cybercrimes and
This is
everything.
common right now, like people getting stalked or like hacked.
But
Boyfriends hacking,
hack,
what the hell?
yeah, hack and all is still okay. It's not okay, but I can understand.
So when he says stalked means he was standing under your
Physically
house?
stalked me.
Yeah.
Like he used to get these anonymous messages of where is Khushi, what is she wearing, whom is she interacting with,
It's not
and why the
anonymous.
is she
Detective.
wearing to interact. She's just doing this to entice and blah blah blah. And he used to show me his phone. Then I'm getting these messages from an anonymous sender.
So you're a detective behind
That's
it.
what I mean. I thought somebody is doing this.
Do you have the details of the detective number or anything?
So my lawyer found out that.
So in this case, we need to talk means you and your mom.
Yeah, we really do need to. So, I mean, these messages that he was getting on his phone, they were coming from an anonymous sender. You know those?
Computerized one.
हाँ. तो वैसे कुछ तो लिखा था, and he had an iPhone.
But what that was accurate.
So I was like, show me the phone. He would never give me the phone. He would just take a screenshot and send it to me. Now, special thanks to my lawyer. Shout out to my lawyer. He found out that he was sending those messages to himself from another number.
But was it accurate?
It was accurate. So the server, I went to cybercrimes, I complained. I found out that ऐसा कोई server exist ही नहीं करता है. It's not existing. So it had to be something else. Then I found out later that the contact card had the first initial saved. At least in iPhones, it's like that. If it's some
right,
company that's
right.
sending you, it's going to be a blank contact card, and if
And
it's
the
a number
initials
you
were his.
हाँ. No, it was that server ka first, so it was an A. That A was appearing on that contact card. That's how my lawyer detected that this is a saved number, and he just saved the name as if it's a server. So then I was very transparent with my mother, and all communication stopped from my end. It only used to happen through my mother, and we called him at a common meeting point, and she was like, "Beta, what is this?" And he was still trying to defend, like, no, somebody hacked me.
But he's done now. I mean,
No,
after
he was done.
After
He
your
was,
mom's
yeah.
intervention, he left.
Yeah. And my mom is so good at this. Like, she had actually told me before only, unka gut feeling is like next level. And I preach. I should have listened to her. But she was so right.
Tell me something else which was less scary, more emotional.
Okay, less scary, more emotional. Yeah, definitely. Recently it happened. But you know what? I'll tell you after you give me a story first.
What,
I just think I'm a little too much right now.
which
so
one you want me to talk about? Or
Let's
what?
go with bad.
I can tell you one,
Yeah.
which was my first
Now you're
relationship.
talking.
Like I said, eons back. I needed some time to go back. I would say I was seeing someone from Dubai, and we were in a happy relationship. Oh wow, there's a mother involved here as well.
They have to be.
There's a mother involved here, and a mother's gut, which was terrible in this case.
Oh, okay.
But I was in a relationship with someone. I think I was still in college then, or just out of college, and we were chatting. And one day she just stopped responding. We have like in a relationship 4 months, proper long distance.
Did she
visited her.
ghost you?
She ghosted me, and I obviously lost my shit. Like, where is my
Yeah.
girlfriend? I kept texting for a few days. She didn't respond to me.
Because you're only connected digitally, like through messages,
Yeah.
calls.
Now I feel like it's so weird. Like, how can a partner ghost? Like, I would never do that. Like,
Yeah.
I find it very weird. So she ghosted me like for I don't know how long, I can't remember, but definitely a few days. And then she texted me saying, I'm sorry, but my mom thinks we should not continue.
This is so typical. I've
Yeah.
heard this.
Yeah, you
Yes.
heard it or you tried it?
I've not tried it.
Acha, okay. So
Then I let my mom do the talking
Yeah.
when she wants to
yeah.
express. But
So
yeah, continue.
I was like, what's wrong?
Mhm.
And then apparently, like, okay, she's a Sindhi, I'm a Gujarati, and some stuff like that. She random stuff she brought up. And also, like, I think I was just a boy out of college. I don't know what her mom wanted for her. I don't really know. But I was surprised with that whole thing. I couldn't handle it really well. I was pretty bad, but I didn't chase her. I let it go. I struggled. I let it go. And months later, through a common friend, I learned she was dating someone else.
What?
And then I obviously got into details, and without having a detective with a second number like you had,
Sure.
I found out that she was dating this guy. Her start and the end dates were same. So she was
How do you know? Wait, how do you know
like
start and end? How did you find
I
out
found out,
exactly?
like I got to know about the guy she was dating,
Through a friend, you
who
said.
was like someone from her group, her circle.
Hmm.
So he was easily known, and I got to know when she started with him, and I also got to know when she ended. So when I say date, I don't mean date. I mean, like, say for example, if I started dating in
Period.
September
Yeah.
and we ended in Feb or March, then his also was September to Feb and March. And I confirmed, and they're like, oh no, they were in a relationship from this period to this period.
She would never post. She.
No, this was like years back when there was like no Instagram. That's what I'm saying. I'm a millennial, right? Why the am I on this podcast to tell you these stories? So this is before Instagram days.
Yeah. Okay.
So I I had no way to confirm,
Yeah.
but I got a confirmation from multiple people.
Hmm.
And I'm curious now, why did she end with him? I think she told him the same thing.
What did she want?
So
Did
it's
she have
not-
a third guy?
And the funny part is that I wasn't even that sad about this in the end, because I was like, she didn't pick him over me. You know, she just played both of us. I'm like, oh, not bad. She played both of us. She didn't pick him over me. And years later, when we both matured, I would say that way, let me put it that way, like kind of had little understanding what is right and wrong. I met her. And when we became sort of friends again, she's a friend now. When we
Wow.
became friends again, and she's happily married and like whatever, happy in life. But when we became friends again, I asked her, and she said, yeah, that's true. I was two-timing you.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
So I think that was, I mean, I can laugh about it now.
But back then
Back
it might
then
have
it
been
was-
tormenting.
Oh yeah, really bad. And for a young boy, like first girlfriend.
Your first.
Yeah.
You know, a victim hurts another victim. It's like a domino effect.
Really?
First relationship ends in the worst possible way.
Yeah.
Then though the next person you're dating is
Yeah, possible.
this is what
Because-
at least I have seen
Because
so far.
Yeah, maybe. Because I
And
think the
then it
relationship I had
continues.
after that, I was the one who ended it. Yeah. See, I remember this.
See? Oh my god, wow.
Okay, so how do you break up? Like what
How
what
do
is
I
your
break
what
up?
is it a Gen Z way, or like what are the Gen Z ways of breaking up?
I have a couple of pointers that I want to keep in mind when I break up. First and foremost, be very clear, be assertive. Don't leave things open ended. Secondly, um, respond and not react. I feel that your happy memories of the relationship begin to have less hold on you when you have this ugly breakup fight.
Agree.
So, might as well just go into it easy, be a little civilized about it, hear each other out, and respond, because you are going to carry that with you into your next relationship.
Okay, so respond, not react.
Yeah.
The first one was,
Be direct.
yeah, that's a good
Don't
one.
leave anything's
Yeah.
uncertain.
Yeah.
Like, don't have that hanging,
Yeah.
we could hook up if we want to sort of an arrangement.
Yeah,
Don't do that. Be very clear. I also feel no contact after breakup works.
Okay. So disconnect completely.
Disconnect. How much ever I would want to reach out to the person, I've been reading up on this. Because I told you I was recently going through a breakup. No contact works. No contact really works. Out of sight, out of mind. But how about you? Do you have any
No,
pointers?
I think I agree with all three actually.
Okay.
I don't think you can be friends with an ex if you've been in a look, it's different when you're like casually dating, and it's
Yeah.
different when you're in a relationship. And I don't think being friends with anyone, being friends is just a way of cushioning the blow,
Yeah. Yeah.
softening the blow, and trying to still have that person around
Yeah.
because you're scared. It's a very natural human response to a breakup. Like you are losing someone who you love, and then you want to still have them around. So I think it's a very fair way, but you need to probably take a hard stand, which is not easy, I'm sure, for either, but don't have them as friends. Eventually, if you genuinely care for the person, there's a possibility you can become friends over time.
Yeah, exactly. But that initial thought of
definitely, yeah.
them having
Any play,
Any-
any
हाँ,
any part
in
to
your
do in your life.
romantic
No, any part to do
life.
in your life, to be honest.
or also like being your potential romantic match after this has ended.
No, if you end it, then there's no potential romantic
No, but
match.
like at the back of your head, you still, have that fake hope a little bit, and maybe in the
Yeah,
future.
yeah,
So maybe for that reason, when once you stop seeing them
yeah.
in a romantic way, maybe then. And also, would you do it in person, or I believe doing it in person always
I would only do it
works.
in person, and I also think that
Oh, is that the only way?
this is the only way I would do it. No,
Oh,
if I'm in a long distance, I would do it over a call,
obviously,
but
but
it would be like a proper call, like a meeting or like a video
yeah,
call. Or like what I mean when I say meeting, I mean what I mean is
yeah,
as if I'm in front of the
mhm,
person. Like I
mhm,
would talk in detail about the breakup
yeah,
if I want to end it. Also, I feel texting or putting on Instagram messages or whatever
yeah.
people do now, that probably can work if it is casual. If it's someone you are in love with or you are in love, I
Mhm.
mean, of course, you care for that person if you're in a relationship with them. I don't think they deserve that. I think they need to have a face to face.
Absolutely. But especially in the Gen Z, there is this trend of resorting to the easier
Yeah.
methods, which could be just with a text,
I've had
maybe with a
blocking
call.
happen.
Oh, okay. After having had the breakup, no.
I would say that blocking in anger followed by breakup.
Oh, so then what do you do in that interim period?
Interim period, you kind of, it's a guesswork or it's understood that, okay, this is ended. And I think it's the most unhealthy, toxic way. And
Yeah.
I can't judge anyone because we don't know what has led to that person to
Yeah.
going through that. But I've seen that does happen. I'm totally against it. I've never blocked
You have
anyone.
to talk it out.
I've never blocked anyone in anger who is my partner, who was my partner. Never.
Okay.
If I would block someone, it's probably because I'm done with them and they are not anymore in the life.
There's a lot of spiraling happens then.
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
think, yeah, like a lot of back and forth, might as well just talk about
But
it
I
and
think
just.
blocking can also be an extreme case. And I mean, in their defense, I'm saying blocking could be a situation where, for example, your stalker guy, if someone is really not understanding, then you block them. And I think that's fine, I
He
guess.
just keeps coming back to our conversation and it
Uh,
creeps me
It's
out,
an
Vikram.
amazing testimony, and we'll keep using it till this
Okay,
episode is
sure.
over.
But I have some, typical breakup statements for you
Yeah.
that at least I have seen the Gen Z use.
Okay.
And I want to see if you know
Oh,
them or
yeah, that'll
not.
be fun. Yeah, please.
Okay, first and foremost, it's not you, it's me.
If that's
That's
that's an all
standard.
timer. Yeah, yeah.
Acha, have you used it?
I'm seeing it from the Seinfeld days.
Okay.
Like it's not you, it's not, it's me.
Okay.
Um, I have said use. You know what? Cliches are cliches for a reason. So
So
it's a
y'all have passed
cliche.
it on to us,
Oh
that
yeah, definitely.
means.
It's passed to generation. Cliche. It's a cliche, but it is a cliche because it actually does happen to everyone. And I feel at some point, at least, I've had a time. Oh man, I mean, last 10 years, I've only been saying that.
10 years?
No, I would
When
say
did you start dating,
no, like
Vikram?
because I feel like I would say that yeah, it's something I commonly think has happened in my life where I feel like okay, I'm not ready, and it's like it's not you, it's me.
10 years ago, I was just getting distracted by a butterfly when I was playing in the school playground.
Good, so you picked it up from there, from your kindergarten
From
days.
your kindergarten. But okay, next one. I'm just in a place in my life right now where I need to focus on me and my career,
This is definitely a Gen Z thing.
This is?
Yeah, but I can't see that.
You can't say that?
No,
I
I
mean,
can't.
yeah, you're like.
I'm not going to say like
already
I'm in a
kicked her.
place where I need to focus on my career.
But yourself?
I
You
mean,
can always make time to focus on yourself.
I
Come
mean,
on.
I've never used this.
Now you can use it.
I can say that I don't have the time or I don't have the bandwidth for a relationship,
Hmm.
which
Hmm.
is the case many times. But I mean, I've never used this. Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, to focus on
Yeah.
yourself.
But really, I wanted to focus on myself and my career.
Yeah, I also feel like in Gen Z, like or your age bracket, a lot of people are figuring their career, their
Yeah.
move, like if they want to study abroad or they're going to,
Yeah.
shift base,
Exactly.
or like they want to concentrate on a new business.
And I feel
So,
ambition also really
yeah,
matters.
yeah.
The person I was seeing was not as motivated as I used to be. And if I would have, like tiny achievements throughout my day, and if I would share, it would feel like there's jealousy being thrown back at me.
Yeah.
There was some form of insecurity
Yeah.
of maybe me winning something in
Oh,
life
definitely.
and
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
him not.
Yeah.
So it was just a very bad space with respect to growth. And
By
yeah,
the way, that a little off topic, but ambition
yeah.
is lack of ambition is a very big reason a lot of women break up,
Oh, okay.
and I think it's
Wow.
very
Yeah,
warranted.
valid.
It's very
Valid.
warranted. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, next one. We're better off as friends.
Okay. No, you can't say
Okay.
that if you're following what you just said sometime back about you
Hmm.
can't be friends with them.
This is a typical statement that some people use. I'm
Yeah,
not saying
correct.
what
I've
I
heard all of
believe.
these, by
Yeah.
the way. Of course, I've heard them. Yeah,
Acha, you've heard
yeah.
them. Okay. And what about
I've never said it to someone.
you've never?
No.
Okay. It's like I don't think it's
I might have said
right.
it to someone at the beginning when we kind of getting to know each
Ha
other.
ha ha.
Definitely not.
In those initial stages only you decide
Yeah, yeah.
if you're better off as
Not like
friends,
a
not
relation,
later
not a breakup
once
with
you've
a.
tried and
Yeah,
tested.
yeah, I wouldn't do it. Yeah,
Yeah, that's just baseless nonsense. Last one. Come on. You saw this coming.
Come on, you saw this coming. No, that's below the belt for me.
I know that is, but people say that.
I wouldn't say
The
that.
nerve.
No, I
You wouldn't say that.
Has someone told you that?
No. Yeah. I'd forgotten. Yeah. Now that I am reminded of it, yeah. Yes.
Okay, no, that's
And and the line the person used, it feels like you're actually breaking up, but oh, you saw this coming, didn't you?
oh yeah.
Like as if
Now when you put it that way, then I think that yeah, I'm sure it's
because
you were
we
some.
had some back and forth, with like it was like a breakup, then a re-breakup, and then
There's no more like Gen Z lingo in breakups.
okay, yeah, I wanted to talk to you about this, like
Yeah,
how
like that,
it is in the
like
modern
like
times.
oh my god, babe, you're in like Delulu land, something like that.
Yeah, Delulu is the only Salulu,
Yeah.
if I said it right. But at least what I've seen, if I am dating somebody in the Gen Z and
Hmm.
if they have just gotten out of a relationship, there is some kind of exemption that they expect us to give. Ki he or she is allowed to be in this whole phase or only hook up for like a certain amount of time because they've gotten out of a relationship.
Who gives this exception?
It's just unsaid. They are exempted, like especially in the Gen Z, and I'm not okay with it. Like that's no reason for you
Hmm.
to just be
So
casual.
in the sense that,
Like, come on, I've just gotten out of a relationship.
but
And
that's so personal, right?
yeah,
Like,
exactly.
no, but if they want to like,
Don't use it as an
yeah,
excuse.
yeah. So it's a free ticket to do it, to fuck
Yeah.
around.
Yeah. Don't use it as a free ticket, is what
But
I mean.
I mean, as long as they're single and they're doing it, it's okay.
It's okay, but then be okay with it. You don't need to have excuses
Yeah.
to
Yeah,
supplement
fair.
this
You
behavior.
don't need to make it look like, oh, because I've broken up now, I have the free
Yeah.
ticket.
Tell me how it used to be in the olden times. The
Olden times, like
Sorry. You, एक second. You are telling me 10 years ago, then it's olden times only na for me. What is my lifespan till now?
yeah.
Like duration of my survival?
Olden times, we used to rub stones to create fire.
When?
Okay, olden times. I don't know about olden times and younger times, but I feel the most common thing I have seen is that people tend to jump relationships. So I don't know about that free ticket to the whole phase or whatever you called it. I would say that I have seen a lot more of people hopping or switching relationships. And I'm guessing that's a rebound. But
Yeah.
it's most common that if there's a breakup within a month or two, either one of the two is already seeing someone. And people talk about it. People talk about it and how. So whenever I've seen it, like I've always heard someone mentioning it. Hey, do you know that this one just broke up and already seeing someone else? So that becomes a very distinctive gossip news for them.
Yeah, I think you rather spend that time by yourself, heal, and then maybe move on. Because you're going to be projecting your own wounds onto the next person.
Yeah, definitely. I'm guessing that.
But then again, I think that it's purely going to be physical. Like, I don't want to generalize it, but come on, it's predominantly going to be physical.
No, I don't
The
think so.
rebound.
I feel like majority of the rebounds are because they want an emotional support or a shoulder to cry on. I mean, I do agree that whole fling thing also.
Okay.
I did react that way actually.
Hmm.
I did after the
First.
two
Yeah.
timing
Ouch.
relationship, and then another breakup.
Hmm.
After the second one, I went into a whole phase. I went into a fling thing. But to be honest, for me also, there was a realization that being single or independent of commitments
Hmm.
is great in its own way. As long as you're not misleading someone, it's great. There's nothing wrong in it. So I kind of experienced that single life is great as well. But
Yeah.
it also took me to a place where I started loving my own company. I started loving having my own time alone. I even today, while I'm single, I love having my coffees alone or sitting for dinner alone. I love it. I love watching my Netflix alone. Of course, like I don't feel like I need a company to do those things.
Sorry, this is a little off topic, but if you can eat in a restaurant alone, then I think you're sorted for life
Yeah,
for me. That level of
I can't
confidence.
watch a movie alone. I
Securance.
have never gone to a theater to watch a movie
I
alone.
have.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool. I know a
Yeah.
lot of people do that. It's pretty cool. Somehow I've not done that, but I've definitely enjoyed having a meal alone. I actually still do. Like, I mean, I travel so much for work,
Hmm.
and I, in fact, because I'm always around people, I love this. I make it a point that I'm sitting alone to eat. I'm like, don't disturb me.
So, Vikram, our producers have collated some crazy breakup stories. So, let's hear them.
Have you heard them
I've
before?
not heard them.
Okay, then
Totally, like, I'm clueless. Let's see what we have.
okay.
Okay. It was a 7-month relationship. He didn't answer my calls or texts for 3 days during my finals week. On Friday, I got a text that said he needed to seek therapy and had realizations about us, without ever saying the words breakup. I asked him if he wanted to break up, and he never responded. It's been 2 years, and we live half a mile from each other.
Wow. I have so many questions though.
Yeah, first and foremost, बच्चे को पढ़ाई करनी चाहिए ना एग्जाम के बीच में क्या ब्रेकअप कर रहा है यार.
No, but I think honestly the point here is that people do break up because they need therapy or they go to therapy. This is so common now. It's actually a good thing. It's kind of
Yeah.
evolution as well. Like people understanding the need of therapy. That's pretty
Yes.
good. Pretty good. But the point here is not replying that I need to break up. Like
Maybe
when she
it just
asked him,
got so real for the dude and he didn't want to accept it.
yeah, but you
But that
can't.
is what he was doing.
Yeah, but if that's your girlfriend, if she's asking you that, do you want to break up? Like all he can do is respond. Also, my question is half mile away, 2 years, they didn't meet again. Like,
And I think half a mile away, they might be in the same school जिसका exam चल रहा था. How would they face each other in school, man?
school or college? Or
College, whatever. What would they do when they came face to face?
you started in school. Yeah, I got the point. No, but that is nasty.
That is nasty.
That's a nasty. That's a pretty bad breakup because I think that everyone deserves answers,
Yeah.
and I think leaving them hanging, that's pretty much the worst thing you can do to your partner.
Yeah. And I think even the other one might have had to go to therapy.
Also, I
after
think
that.
that's actually kind of
Hmm.
dwelling a little more on that. I feel like we tend to lack empathy when we break up with someone. Like, what if
Yes.
the other person's also going through something? Like, you want to go to
Yes.
therapy, so you ghost that person. What about the fact
Hmm.
that the impact you may have on that person?
I agree with you. Totally human. Yeah. Next one.
At Whole Foods, the guy I was seeing looks at the cart and then me and says, "Oh no, this is 10 items or less line. I have 11 items." I was the item he left behind at the store.
So she left him because of this.
This is how he broke up with her.
Oh, this is how he broke up
Yeah.
with her.
He said, "This is the 10 items or less line." And she was the
Oh
11th item.
wow! Now that's an intelligent guy.
Maybe I am the dumb girl.
Yeah.
Sorry.
That's such a smooth way to walk out of a relationship.
Would you ever use phrases like this.
Not really, unless I'm joking. But that's really good.
So he just confused the girl. Like by the time she could make sense of what he said, he's
Yeah.
long gone.
Correct. He's got long gone in the queue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next.
I told my ex that I wanted to break up because we had no chemistry, no spark. The next week, when he came to my place to get some of his things, he put a 9-volt battery on my table. Then he looked at me in the eyes and said, "Just in case you still think we don't have a spark."
That is just
This is taken from some movie.
yeah.
This is
Yeah.
a really bad movie.
You watched it though.
And I'm just thinking, who would do that? Okay, a guy with a good sense of humor, actually.
Or a sense of revenge.
No, why revenge? What does revenge have to do with the battery?
Just trying to prove a point.
No, that's funny. He's not going to think that she's going to take it seriously.
What if she did?
No, but there's another issue here, which is that keep like this awkwardness when you leave things at your ex's house. This is also very common. And then sending a friend to get it because you can't go,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
right?
I have heard a story.
No, I have left things behind. I'm like, fuck it, let her keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's usually my scrunchies, you know.
Why do you want your scrunchies back?
I love my scrunchies.
So what do you
and
do?
I've noticed that there is this pattern. The one thing that all of my exes have
Are your scrunchies?
are my scrunchies.
So do you never ask them back?
No. No, yeah. Just feel like, theek hai, whenever they look at it, they'll think of me.
That's another way of looking at it.
Yeah.
Leaving your scrunchies wherever you go.
I don't leave it intentionally.
Yeah, fair.
Just
You know what I
happens
mean.
to. Or maybe I'm just a little forgetful.
Okay, that was very interesting take on breakups.
Breakups. I thought I was the only one who has like very terrible, crazy, weird breakup stories, but
No,
I'm
no,
just happy.
Each of these have topped your breakups.
Yeah.
I do want to talk to you about what you mentioned about the guilt thing.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's again a very common thing, by the way.
Yeah.
The guilt. Oh, that also makes you stay in the relationship.
Yes.
So
Yes.
what usually would make you stay in a relationship? Like, I mean, guilt is one thing, right? Because you don't want to hurt that person.
Also, you have seen that person maybe go through a lot in their life because
Yeah.
you've spent some amount of time with that person.
Yeah.
You've seen how difficult it was for them to grow over it and like come out of it, and then you just feel entitled or like compelled, or you just feel that you owe this much to them.
Correct. Yeah.
I have felt that
But
for
it's
sure.
again such a wrong reason to stay back in it.
Definitely. You have to time that very well, at least for yourself and for the person.
Would you break up with someone when they're at their lowest point? Like, what if they're depressed or going through therapy or they're going through something, but you're done with them? Would you continue? Would you have, I don't know. It's very difficult because I don't know if I'll have the courage to tell them.
Yeah, I think it would not be the ideal time or like
So
the
would you
best.
continue linger or rather deal with it?
Yeah, but there is again a limit to how much you can take. If it's affecting your sanity, then you're going to have to draw boundaries for yourself.
True. And what about toxic guys?
Oh my god, this is a different episode altogether, Vikram. Toxic, just this new trending phrase of you were toxic or this relationship
I don't
was
think
toxic.
this is Gen Z, by the way.
This has been there. It's
This has
just
been there, but it's
been called
probably,
toxic
it's
now.
called toxic now.
It's getting labeled now, but
I
it's
think
been existing.
toxic, narcissist, all that is
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
more commonly used now than before.
Pre-existing,
Yeah.
yeah. But I just feel that in the modern times, at least, we are drawn to more toxic situations.
But that's, that's a different topic because it's a lot to do with your patterns.
With your patterns, with your attachment styles,
Yeah, correct.
and your unhealed traumas,
Yeah.
and your past breakups
And childhood and all of that.
Yeah.
That's a different
Wow.
topic, like I said.
Vikram, we have spoken so much about breaking up and everything that comes with it. I think we should shed some light on moving on now, don't you think?
Yeah, so you mean post breakup?
Post
Aftermath.
breakup. Yeah.
So, I mean, obviously, I'm curious to know how you usually would deal with it. I feel ideally I prefer to be alone once I have
Yeah.
a breakup.
Huh.
That's my typical way. I would disconnect from that person completely.
Yeah.
And I also consciously make it a point that I don't uh, get into any kind of entanglement of
Exactly.
any kind.
Adding on to that,
Yeah.
don't let your loneliness or horniness take control over you.
Talking about horniness, I
Yeah.
would say that uh, I consciously don't fling
Hmm.
after a relationship for a few months at least. Like I'll know when I'm ready, because I mean I probably must have experienced at some point, I don't remember, but I've realized at
Yeah.
some point that where I've been with someone physically and I can see that I'm not over my ex, and I feel terrible about it. It's not about how, it's not like a movie that I'm thinking about my ex.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
like you come out of this thinking that I feel shit about myself. So
Maybe.
I'm pretty sure that, I mean, in my sense, at least how I
Yeah.
handle
You
it.
you have to sit with it. You
Yeah.
have to completely feel it. Of obviously there is a lot of underlying pain, and not only emotional. There's physical pain. I have felt it.
Yeah. So you kind of have to go, and sometimes even if you're not the one who's I like, if I've ended it, even if I've ended it and I'm ready or I'm happy about the breakup in that sense, I would still take some time off. So
Definitely.
that's one thing. And I mean, would you do the same? Is that what you typically do?
I think I had mentioned this before. No contact works the best for me.
No, but what about contact with someone else?
Contact with someone else, I would definitely say I have had an experience where I have hooked up with someone else right after a breakup. But I think I was very opportunistic. I didn't plan on that. I didn't have
Oh
that
yeah, that's
mindset
happened
that
with me.
no,
You have
now I
responded to
need
you have
just
responded
yeah,
to someone.
something
Yeah.
physical. Yeah. I was totally open to my environment, and
Yeah,
there was a
exactly.
stimulus. I mean, I have to respond to it.
Yeah.
So I not that I have to, but I did.
Yeah.
And I have no regrets. And I think at that point of time in my life, it aided my healing process. I did spend some time alone. I thought things through. I felt emotions. Not that I was on a hookup like
Spree.
spree. But yeah,
No,
that's
I
what.
think yeah, I mean, I've had something similar. But typically I would say that I would rather consciously stay away, or that also includes conversations, I think, chatting, flirting with someone. And I think it's
Yeah.
common, like a lot of people are not interested in doing that when they're just healing, if you're healing, then you're healing, like that's how you should do.
But that is when you're absolutely aware of the fact that you're healing. Awareness is a catalyst in moving on. Firstly, you have to accept and you have to just understand that you have to let certain things go what is not serving you.
Right.
Once you've accepted it, once you've absorbed it, because you're also so vulnerable at that point of time. You're living in a fight or flight zone. You're a little too responsive to your environment. So the least of interactions that you might have with people,
Yeah,
you
true.
might
Okay, and let's talk about how would you deal with your ex, like, since you're talking about breakups, I mean post breakup, how would you
being
handle?
friends with your
Yeah,
ex. Is that
how
what
would
you
you,
mean?
yeah, I mean, all of it, how would you?
See, in some scenarios, if you're working together or if you're like professionally still
Oh yeah.
in that setting, you have to. I mean, then you have to just make peace with it and deal with it. But otherwise, I would prefer no contact. And even if you want to be friends with your ex, you can't be friends immediately after your breakup. I think that is definitely lead you, like the both of you, to hook up again.
I feel
Gray area.
there is it's a very sensitive thing, in the sense, one is obviously you need to exercise empathy
Yeah.
when you break up and post breakup, in how you handle them. And I feel I've had situations where I have moved on and the ex calls, and then tried to handle it in a way where I can be empathetic towards that person's feelings, or how she's dealing with the breakup, and of course not being like, okay, you know what, I don't care, I'm done, like we are done, stop calling me. I don't ever do that. I somehow I'm the kind who'll probably just be like, you know what,
Yeah.
let me help you through it, or I understand, and be with her. It's also a little t- tricky, because for instance, suppose an ex calls and she's still, I mean, it's very fresh, it's
Yeah,
1 week
she's
old,
in there.
and she's calling and she's crying and she goes to sleep crying, and then you're like, how do I just hang up on that person because you need to, I mean, you were dating her 1 week back.
Exactly.
So I think it's a very tricky, and it's you need to there's a balance that you need to maintain. And I also feel that the other thing is that I think one is that I think you have to be empathetic towards them, and at the same time I think you can't completely shun away because it kind of is still your responsibility in a way. And also you I don't know how to explain, but you also need to make sure that you're not getting stuck in a rut where
Yeah,
you're
but
like, okay, she's still dependent on you, or she still calls you, or she's crying and she calls you, and every time she's calling you, she's crying, and you're like, okay, she needs to know I'm breaking up. You can't repeatedly tell her, listen, we are over.
the
So
expectations
yeah,
fall into a very gray area.
yeah, and it's also not to do with me not wanting to talk to that person. I think it's more
Yeah.
to do with the fact that I don't want them to be dependent on me at that
Yeah.
point. So yeah, that's the only thing I would say how to handle. You just need to be a little more sensitive on mature and how you handle.
But I think that frequency and intensity would have to
Release.
eventually
No,
fade off.
cut off.
No,
yeah.
no, yeah, you even if just like use a slow
Yeah,
fade,
yeah,
like we
yeah,
discussed it
correct.
before.
Slow fade.
But that is
But
necessary.
I think that when you talk about breakups, it's imperative that you talk about how you deal with an ex, because I think
Yeah.
you need to be responsible for the heart
Of
of the other
yeah.
person who was your ex, you know?
Because a victim hurts another victim.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So you learn when you're on the other side, I guess.
Yeah. I think I just want to end with one thing. I want to tell everyone that don't let a breakup break you.
I just want to say that don't date someone because they're hot and if they're dumb.
With every ending comes a new beginning. No, I'm just getting cliche. Sorry. But
Well,
yeah.
it's fine. You're looking forward to the next guy you meet. So sure. Thank you so much for tuning in.
And if you have some of your crazy breakup stories, please put them in the comments. We would love to hear them. Right?
Yeah, definitely.
And also, don't forget to like, subscribe wherever you're seeing this. Stay tuned to Gibberishq.
And we'll see you at the next episode.